Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad that we could make this work. I mean, when you were telling me about this, I was like, yo, say less, basically, because we know how desperately it's needed out here. And there's a lot of people that are like, yo, I'm not finding quality mate. I don't know what to do next. Being online isn't working. Tell me about your personal experience that made you say, I need to do an event out here.
Well, it's my personal experience, but also there are a lot of us, like you just said, a lot of men and women who are ready to date, who are busy and opened up themselves like, okay, I need to incorporate some romance. But then when we get out there, we're not connecting with this culture. I've heard people call it a hookup culture, which is fine if that's what you want to do, right? But the problem is when it spills over into the groups of folks who want to have a quality connection and go out and really get to know other singles.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about folks who are ready for the next level. And it's so interesting because I was just having this conversation with my best friend, and I was like, in my mind, okay, now I've never done any online dating or anything, but in my mind, it would almost be like, if I know that I am busy and I'm looking for quality connection and I'm on there, then I'm thinking that others who are like me are on there. But I keep hearing that that's not necessarily the case. And I think you're absolutely right with this kind of hookup culture. It actually bleeds into, because it gets into a mixed bag. So you don't know what you're getting on the other end. What kind of things are you really excited for in terms of, you mentioned it to me, going back to courtship, and I want to talk about that because, we think, oh, one and done, or, oh, I'm not dealing with that. We're so easy to move on when, oh, it doesn't seem like it's going to work. There's not much investment, but courtship was really kind of a dedication in the beginning to be like, no, I'm going to learn you. I'm going to court you. I'm going to, show what I can bring to a long-term relationship. That's what's missing. Tell us more.
So that's actually what we are going to be speaking about at this Singles Mix and Connect event. So it's a Singles Mix, Mingle, and Connect. And so we have our guest who will be joining us. That's Debrina Jackson Gandy. And she's a nationally recognized author. And she has been invited to go on national television to talk about her approach on Black juicy love relationships, because it's working. She's having positive results. And so that's one of the things that she will be dropping some jewels on: the difference between the dating culture right now, which is failing. It's failing tremendously. And what modern day courtship should look like. And I'll share a little bit. Even though I'm not the expert, I created this. Can I just let you know why I created this?
Of course.
So I created this Soulful Connections Singles Mix Mingle Connect because I knew that this was an issue that we were dealing with. And I wanted to create a space where we can invite people who are like-minded, right? And I also advocate, like I'm a poet of healing and spiritual development. And so during the event, I will also be sharing a poetic rap. And we have a couple there. We have a Black love relationships couple panel. And these are couples who are vetted. They still giggle around each other. They're still very much enjoying each other. And so when I do my poetic rap, it's going to be based on addressing this breakdown in connection. Because yes, the event is going to be fun, but for me, there's a layer of the necessity to restore Black relationships, the necessity to distinguish what are we actually doing wrong in this dating culture right now. How do we separate, and all the ways that we're going wrong.
Yeah, I think it's important to address those just so you understand, like, what is the big picture we're dealing with here. So I love that y'all will be tackling that. I also think it's important to understand that, like, the marketing of this. I'm glad you're on this show to talk about it, because I've seen big failures when it comes to trying to pull together, relationship at like singles events. A lot of times it's very woman heavy. There's many women that are present and the men don't show up. Tell me about some of your strategies to get the men there. I mean, you want men and women there so there actually can be meaningful connections that are happening in the course of the event as well. Tell me more about that.
Well, I think men are less likely to be receptive to this because there's a dominant voice out there that is always kind of picking at men and what they need to do. And traditionally, the responsibility to carry the relationship has been on men. And so I think that's why it's not as appealing. But thankfully, we understand that. And we have created a space where we're supporting men, and we are reminding each other that it's both of us, it's two ways, that we are investing in each other, investing in getting to know one another. For example, well, for this event, for example, it's a low cost event, right? So as opposed to going out and having to spend 120, 150, usually the man is the one footing that, and then he has no idea where this investment is going to go. And so we're really in support of changing that whole dynamic and reminding folks the simple things that you can do to get to know one another that should not go over a very low cost amount. And so, yeah, I think that's the big difference. We are reminding men that we love and support our men. We want to heal the cohesiveness between us both and understand that we're all in this together.
I love that. I'll throw a suggestion in there because I thought of this after we talked the first time on this. I'm like, connect with men's groups. There's a lot of men's groups, and even if some of those men may be married, they may know single men. And I think sometimes we don't do enough targeted outreach to really be intentional about who we want the audience to be. So I love that you're talking about that intentionality of bringing back that cohesion. It's so necessary.
Shout out to Build 206. They have been sharing the event. We have been intentionally talking to husbands, reaching out to men specifically. Even the Black Film group online, they have shared the event. And I've had to get one of the men on the phone to explain to them so that they know they're not showing up to something that's just going to tell them you should be doing more, you should be doing better, and putting it all on the men. And I think that's another reason why Debrina is going to be a great coach that will be in the building so that we can just freely say what we're experiencing and get her feedback and know that she is in total support of uplifting our Black men.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when she talks about her relationship in particular, because a lot of times you want to hear from people that are doing it successfully. Right. So I love that she'll be there as someone giving her experience and allowing folks to learn from her. This for me is something that might need to be ongoing. I mean, talk about what you've thought about in terms of like kind of the longevity of this, because really it could be a whole movement, Kweli.
Yeah. So this is our first time doing it. We're keeping it small. We're keeping it soulful. So 10 single sisters and 10 single brothers that might have gotten a little bit frustrated and who are open to dating come out. And like you said, I wanted to add to what you said about it being difficult to match make this way. So it's not like there's no heavy expectation. And really, we're teaching each other how to just be completely curious about the person in front of you. So if you are busy and you decided to make room for a little romance in your life, this is a start. Okay. And it's a relaxed, chic environment, right? And then Debrina actually has another event that's called I want to get it correct. It's called Restoring Black Love Relationships. And that'll be on September the 9th. So if you're someone who is opening yourself up, there are steps, like get into the flow with us, come out to this event, come out to the next event, and ready yourself and start getting in the right circles of people who are like-minded.
Yeah.
And yes, we are going to do it every year. That's what I am hoping for. I want, just like this media room is so beautiful, I want this for Black people. I want to go out and create a space where it's just gorgeous and Black singles can come out and feel beautiful and feel like they're in a space that values them and creates an environment for them to have a good time connecting with each other.
I really love this, especially as we've digitized our lives so much. I think online dating just became a thing that people are like, oh, if I'm looking for someone, I'm just going to go online. It just became so normalized. So I love this in-person connection, the opportunity to build bonds, no pressure, right, to do so, but just the opportunity, the open door and the intentionality of the event. I will say too, that when you look at like something like a matchmaker service, I mean, you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, right? I mean, those things are not cheap. And it's because they are trying to be even more explicit in giving you quality options to choose from. So I love that this is going to be open. It's encouraging those who are ready to take that dating to, yeah, I'm open to it. Let me see, let me put myself out there a little bit. It gives them that opportunity. So Kweli, thank you for doing all this. Of course, I got to give you time. You look right there in the camera. Let folks know how they tap in with the event, how they can register to be one of those 10 folks at this amazing event.
Yes, we are going to have so much fun. And if you want to come out and join us, you can find out more about the Soulful Connections Singles Mix and Mingle event by going to any of my pages. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook at Kweli Vuur. That is Kweli. And the last name is V as in Victor, UUR. I have posted the links everywhere. It's a registration required form that you fill out, and then we'll get you hooked up and ready for August the 4th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m.
Oh, wow. Kweli, thanks again for being here, for, understanding the need for this. There's such a void for this. We need more of it. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Oh,